everyone, it's Anna here, and I would like to invite you today to come and make a Brazilian cheese called Queijo Minas. Queijo Minas is very popular in Brazil, and it's a beautiful white fresh cheese made with only 3 ingredients: salt, vinegar and milk. The reason I'm making this cheese is because I'm Brazilian and I've been in Australia for 34 years and I've been craving it, and I made one and it was so delicious that I decided to share the recipe with you. So if you follow my first video, I made the cheese mold. So you go back and I went step by step how to make it. It's very simple, just a quick recap. It's just a painter's bucket. You can have a big size or a smaller size. This is 1 liter, this is 4 liters. And we drew holes everywhere because you need to strain the whey, because when you make the cheese, the curd separates from the water, which is the whey, and it needs to drain. The drier the cheese, the better. The wetter the cheese, it becomes a bit mushy. So in Brazil, they have the molds with a pattern on the bottom, and I couldn't find it in Australia, so I made my own. So I got a laundry mesh, and I cut it into two small sizes, and I placed inside the container, and voila, is my cheese mold. So I have 2 when I make for smaller portion and a big portion. So the cheese that I made before was made with 3 liters, but today I'll be using 6 liters of milk. So the fatter the milk, the better. The way they make it in Brazil is straight from the cow, fresh milk. Can't get any fresher than that. But here, we in Australia, a plain Woolworth or Coles milk will do. It must be full cream milk, otherwise it doesn't work. So I got Coles, and here's the Woolworth. So this is 3 liters, and you also need vinegar, just a plain white vinegar. Some people have made cheeses with apple cider vinegar. I haven't tried, but I just stuck to this is a cheap brand as well, Essentials. You don't need to spend a lot of money. Cheese is very expensive, and I love cheese. Do you like cheese? This is why I'm experimenting things. I love making things, and I love doing things, and I want to share with you. So let's continue. You also need a potato mash, because we have to mash the curd, a strainer to get the curd out of the pot, a big pot that will fit your 6 liters or 3 liters or 1 liter. I'll give you the measurements for all of it. So I have a big pot here. This is the pot that I make bread, so I can put this in the oven as well. Salt. The salt is up to you which salt you wanted, but you have to keep it in mind that if you start using these fancy salts like Himalayan salts, will change the color of your cheese and will also change the flavor. So I'm just using iodized salt because that's what I had at home. You need a strainer. I have a big one, and this is a muslin cloth because we need to put the curd in it. You can use a cheesecloth, or you can use an old curtain that has been sitting there and you never used. You can cut it, wash it, disinfect it, and use it. As long as it has like a little fine mesh, because you want to get that whey out of the cheese. I'm using a pot because later on we have to rest the cheese inside the mold. So I'm just leaving the mold as it is, as it drains the whey out. You will also need a container to put the strainer in as we mash the curd. When they make cheeses, they have like a pressure, I don't know how you call it, like they pressure the cheese to mold it, right? And they put something heavy in it. So I'm making my own. I like making things. So you will need another 4 liters container or whatever you can find. So I'm placing this, when the cheese is inside here, I'm gonna get a paper plate, which I cut it to the size. I'm gonna put this on top of the cheese, and then I'm gonna put the container on top, and I got some weights. This is about 5 kilos. I'm gonna be using 10 kilos, 2 of them inside. So, all right, so you have all of the ingredients, which is the milk, plus all of the materials. Just one more thing that I want to say. When I first made this, I made with 3 liters of milk, and all I used was this. So you can make a mold out of anything that you want. So what I did, I cut the bottom and has the lid, and I put pressure with my hands, right? Now everything has to be sterilized, because you don't want to, it has to sit overnight on your bench, and you don't want any bugs to get in. So also I recommend, I'm just getting here, I have everything on the bench. I'm just getting, this is to keep the flies away, or any mosquitoes, or any bugs. So one of these, or whatever you have at home, just to put on top of the cheese while you're just getting draining it. Sorry, it's my first time. And gloves, clean gloves. If you don't have gloves, please wash your hands. Make sure your hands are very clean. All right, let's go and make some cheese. Queijo Minas is absolutely delicious, and it's something you can impress your friends, impress your family. I'm making for my family, and it's something that I like to have it at home, and it's not fattening. I don't believe milk is too fattening unless you drink in excess. Milk is good for you, it's full of calcium. If you're a middle-aged woman like me, you definitely need calcium. So it's a way to get a good source of calcium, and there's no extra fat. It's just the milk, the salt, and the vinegar. So normally they're made with rennet, and other types of cheese you can use. They added the good bacteria in it, but we don't need any of that. So let's make some Queijo Minas. Excited? I am. Let's do it. All right, to make cheese, you need to grab your big pot and turn the stove on. The milk needs to be hot, like warm to hot. So once we put the vinegar in, the curd will separate from the whey. So you grab your pot, put your milk in. I'm getting the other milk. So this 3 liters, and here we are, another 3 liters, that makes 6 liters. Hang on. It's really, really simple, and it's easy to make. Sorry, I'm having trouble opening the milk. This one's hard. Okay, here we are. So you need to leave the milk here to almost the boiling point. Do not let this boil and overflow. You'll be mess everywhere. It's really hard to cleanse all this milk that's spilled everywhere. So keep an eye on it. Do not walk away. Keep an eye on it. If you have a bigger pot, you're welcome to use it. I use this because I found it would be easier to show you guys, and I do have a bigger and deeper pot over there. All right, so let's just wait for this to to heat up, and while it's heating up, I'm going to give you the measurements. So you grab your vinegar, and here's the vinegar. It's here. So for every liter of milk, it's 4 tablespoons. So for 3 liters, it's 12 tablespoons. For 6 liters, it's 24. Now, if you find that the curd is not separating, you can always add some more vinegar. So I'm gonna let this heat up, and we will return it when it's almost ready, and I'll show you as I add the vinegar. Okay? Okay, so here we are. The milk is it's getting warmer. I just used the thermometer. It's about 30 degrees. If you don't have it, all you have to do is dip your finger in, a clean finger, and if it's warm, it's ready for your vinegar. So you get a tablespoon, and you're going to add 24. So I'm going to start counting. 1, 2, 3, and that 4 if you were making for 1 liter. So I'm going to put some music on and keep going. Okay, 24. So you mix it, and hopefully the curd will start to show up. If it doesn't, you can always add some more vinegar. When you use rennet, you have to wait about 45 minutes to have the full curd, but this one, it happens straight away. So I'll keep mixing it. And hopefully the curd, I don't think the milk is hot enough yet. So when you make it with vinegar, the milk has to be really warm. And then you have to wait for 5 minutes to rest it. But we just keep stirring and wait for the effect. So I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons. I put 24. So here's 26. 27. Wait, don't break things. So hopefully you start showing up. Okay, I'll let this warm up a little bit more, and I'll show you when it's ready. So the milk has warmed up, and I already put the vinegar in, and I actually put 28 tablespoons. You can always prepare this prior to start heating up the milk, so you add the whole thing at once. So you can see this is the curd forming already, and see, do you see it? This is cheese. Isn't that exciting? So simple. Cottage cheese. There it is. That's what we eat. Cottage cheese. And from this, the cheese ages, and some cheese take up to 1 year to be ready. And if you do any further research, you see this is the cleanest cheese you're going to get. I'm just gonna separate this. Now there's a secret, right? once you take the curd out, you have to work straight away on it, because if you don't work straight away, it will not mold into the container. So as soon it comes out, put your gloves on and start the straining process, and we add to the container straight away. Do not walk away, do not leave it to get colder, because you will not be able to mold, and then all you're gonna have is cottage cheese. So as the milk heat up, more of the curd appear, and when the water start becoming clear, you see this seeds still a lot of milk in there. So when it becomes clear, you know it's ready, and I'll show you when it's ready. The curd has separated, and you can see it's taken a little while. I end up putting 32 tablespoons because I wanted the process to go a bit faster. But if you don't want to put that much vinegar in it, all you have to do is turn it off and wait about 10 minutes. So what I'm gonna do, right, I'm gonna turn my stove off now, and I'm going to wait another 5 minutes in here. I'm gonna put the lid on, see if you can separate more of the curd from the whey. So do you see the clear water? See the difference between before and now? Now this water is highly nutritious, good for your plants, good to put on smoothies, right? You know, whey comes in supplement, and this is it. This is pure whey, so you don't need to take supplements anymore. This is your nutrition, right? If you're in bodybuilding, want to clean your stomach, you drink this. Put on your smoothie with banana in the mornings, or however you have your smoothies, and you'll be super healthy. Otherwise, I will teach you a recipe where you can make little bit leftovers of cheese for your dog, and make some cheese biscuits if your dog is not lactose intolerant. Okay, mine is not. I'm going to put the lid on, and then we're gonna remove the curd from the whey and start molding our cheese. 5 minutes, yeah? Okay. So 5 minutes has gone past, and we're going to remove the curd and leave the whey behind. I'm just going to get my, I use this when you fry chips. So this is the perfect scoop. Look at that. That's a perfect curd. Now, I've seen a lot of recipes where people still remove more curd from this and make ricotta and salata. However, I wasn't successful with that. But if you have a fatter and richer milk, like fresh milk, then it's a perfect way to make extra cheese out of it. So whatever you do, do not throw this out. Like I said, it's full of proteins, and it's very beneficial for your body. So I'm gonna remove as much as I can, and I'm gonna transfer this to the bench. So let's do it. Come with me. So here we are, cottage cheese. Excited? So what we're gonna do now, we're going to get your cheesecloth or whatever cloth you have. Mine is a muslin cloth, and put it in together. You see it? You see all the water coming out? And we're gonna squeeze this. You either squeeze with your hand. I'm gonna use a masher because it's hot. Do not leave this unattended for too long. Like I said, we will not mold. So you squeeze as much as you can. You want to get that, make sure the curd doesn't come out of the cloth. This is why you have a strainer underneath. So you keep squeezing it. And you know, this cheese, it's so delicious. It doesn't last long. And if you're a lover of cheese, you will love this. So can you see what I'm doing? It's my first time vlogging, so do forgive me if I'm not speaking correctly. I'm a bit nervous, but I make a lot of things, and I would like to share with you some of the things that I make, and I invite you to do it together. So let's make Queijo Minas, so popular in Brazil. Must taste good, huh? So here we are. I'm not going to take too much out at this stage because we need to add the salt. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this here. Do you see? I'm going to get rid of this water, and we're going to put some salt in the curd. Okay, so we got rid of all the whey. Now I'm just going to squeeze a little bit more, and we're going to salt the cheese. So the salt is up to you. You can either have salty or no salt at all. I like salt, so I'm just gonna put it here, and I'll put this in the sink. And I like salty, not too salty, but you know, medium. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. When I made the 3 liters milk, I used 1 tablespoon and it was a perfect. Now, ideally, you should take as much whey as possible, as much as curd as possible out of your rag. And so I wash this by hand, and you use it as long as you can. Just wash it by hand for a little bit of detergent. Rinse it well. Make sure you rinse it well. And then put it to dry and reuse it again. So here we are. I'm just going to get a spoon. Tablespoon. So like I said, another thing I want to say, I'm using iodized salt. So whatever salt you want to have, you can use it. However, you have to remember that it will change the flavor of the cheese, and also you will change the color. If you're using pink Himalayan salt, it will definitely change the color of it. So here's 1 and 2. So when you're making the cheese, ideally you have to almost boil the milk, almost, and then you add the vinegar. That way the process is faster. I just go the slow way, and but if you almost boil the milk, not boiled, so it's still almost boil the milk, and add the vinegar, and once the curd comes, you let it rest a little bit, 5 minutes. If it's a little bit more, you can, and then you start take the curd out. So cottage cheese right here. If you want to leave it as that, just put it in a basket, a small basket like that, or whatever basket you have, and you have cottage cheese. Put it in the fridge. Add a little bit of whey in the cottage cheese, so it stays that with that wet feel. Cottage cheese is made with the whey, but because we're using vinegar, I think the vinegar extracts more of the curd than the whey. Because I think the vinegar extracts more of the curd than the rennet. Because the rennet, I've noticed in a few other people that have made it, it leaves that a whitish milk, silky look to the whey. But ours, it left like almost like a liquid, so extracted a lot of the curd out. So try a little bit to make sure you have enough salt. I'm gonna add a tiny little bit more. So when the cheese is ready, we're gonna weigh it. So I made 3 different ones. One is be sitting in the fridge already for a day. The other one is just in the basket. Okay, so you now get your mesh. This mesh is a bit big, but you don't need to have this. This is optional. We're going to turn these later, so I like to have the option of have the mesh look on both sides. And now you're gonna close you see, you close it, the cloth, and then you're gonna get your second bucket and you're gonna put on top of it. Now we need to put something heavy so it releases. What we're gonna do is gonna release more whey out, so it allows the cheese to dry. So as I showed you, I'm using the 5 kilos. Do you see it leans a little bit on that side? You don't need to use this much. You can put a book on top of it or whatever you find it. And now, sorry, first time, sorry. And there you are. So ideally, you glad wrap the whole area and put a rag on top of it. And 6 hours later, we're going to come back and we're going to turn the cheese around, and then we're going to wait another 6 hours. Then we're going to put it in the fridge. All right? But it depends. If the cheese is still a bit soft, we're just going to leave it outside, exposed to the air. So we're going to take as we go. Okay, my first one, I had to leave it outside. The second one is not ready. I'll show you when I turn the cheese around. So here we are. Your cheese has a way. So I like making things and I like doing things. So I invite you to use your creativity. And if you don't have the product, you might not have the money. It might take 2 weeks, but you want to make now. That's my problem. I want to make now. So I like to use my creativity and come up with alternatives. And if it doesn't work, then I'll go and buy the product. But this is gonna work because I already know my other cheese in the fridge is looking amazing. So I will show you and I'll see you in 6 hours. I'll see you soon. Okay, it's been way past 6 hours. I fell asleep. So the next step now is to take the cheese out and turn the cheese. Now I turned the other cheese and I had trouble with the mash because the mash got stuck in the cheese. So I had to return the cheese back in the mold without the mash. And then I'm going to have to let it air dry so it hardens a little. So the secret is to take as much away as possible. So this cheese is really wet and it's gonna take much longer to cure. So to avoid any dramas, any further dramas, I'm gonna take the mash out. You need to get a clean cloth. So here's the cheese. And here's the mash. Oh, this one's alright, sort of. So put the mash on the side. And we have to turn the cheese around. So let's fix up the cheese a little. So later on we can put a little bit of water to straighten it. So I have another rag. So we lift the bottom one and turn it around. Lift the old rag out. Ta-da! And we need to get the mash out. We just need to get a knife. Oh, voila! So, I think this is the problem, is the second mash. You see that? The second mash, because the cheese, it was, can you see it? Was way too wet. But never mind. What we do is we just put it back in the bucket without the mash. My first one, I'll show you, came out perfect with the mash. I don't know why this one. Maybe individual one, just one mash will do, but and maybe less weight because there was too much weight. So we're gonna put it back in the bucket. Make sure it's nice, it's not bent. Make sure it's nice and straight, even in the bucket. Make sure it's nice and even. And we're gonna repeat the same process. Put the other bucket on top, and I'm gonna just put one weight. It's still very wet. It was still oozing a lot of whey out of this. So I'll return to you when it's ready. So put the other bucket on top, put the whey on it, and I'll return to you. I'll see you soon when it's ready. Okay, I already took the cheese out of the mold, and I'm just gonna take the cheesecloth out, the muslin cloth. I'm gonna turn this cheese around because it needs to rest on the bench for another 12 hours. Otherwise, you can put it straight in the fridge. But I wanna to rest in the bench. Sorry, I wanted to rest in the bench, and look at that. That's cheese. Right here. You see? So it's still soft, you see? It's still very tender at this stage. So what we're gonna do, so we need to remove this cloth now because it's gonna get really warm today. So you lift it up and flip it. And then we're going to get another plate, or even do it like this. How about it? There you are. You know why? This cloth is dirty and you don't want it to go off. Last thing you want is bacteria in your cheese. There's a difference between beneficial bacteria and a deadly bacteria. So, you want to close the loop? Here's the cheese. Isn't it beautiful? Some people eat like that. I like mine a little bit harder. So we cover up. And I'm going to get the other one in the fridge and show you when it's cured, so you know. So here's the cheese that's been in the fridge for over 24 hours. It's a bit harder. You still have that soft, nice texture, but it's much harder than the other one. So you need a plastic. What I have here, it's like a freezer plastic, and you cover it, put it in the fridge. I'll just unwrap this so you can see. Ideally, I would like to leave it in the fridge for another day. So it makes 2 days. So do you see it? It smells amazing. So the texture is much harder now. So if I leave it in the fridge for another day, the cheese will be perfect. So I'm going to recover this, put it in the fridge. And the one that you can see, it's resting. This is the cloth, sorry. It's just the cloth, not tissue. So the one that it's resting, it's gonna sit there for 6 hours. And then we're going to have a look if it's firm enough, and we put it in the fridge, and you can leave it there for 2 days. So the cheese has been sitting here for 5 hours, and it's firm enough so I can lift it. And this is the bag, freezer bag that I told you about it. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna pick up the cheese very gently. And then we're gonna place it in the bag. It's still soft, so you have to be very careful. I'm gonna lay it down now. And then we tie it up and leave it in the fridge for 2 days. So in 2 days time, I'll show you the results. I'm excited. I can't wait. I just want to eat the cheese. And I like the fresh cheese. There's another process to make it aged, but I'll show you in the next video. Okay, see you soon. Okay, so our cheese that we made together, I decided to dry it a little bit more. So because I already made one, there was the fresh Minas cheese, it's in the fridge. I decided to dry this. So what I did, I put salt on both sides and I wrapped with the cloth. So it stays here 24 hours. And then we're going to wash it, put salt again, dry it, and we're going to repeat this process for about 3 to 4 days. So let's see how it turns out. So this is called a half cure, which takes about 3 to 4 days. And I'll show you the fresh one, the texture of it now. So here it is. It's about a day and a half. I couldn't help myself. I already dug in. So this is called fresh Minas cheese. So it has like a Philadelphia kind of texture. But you have to remember, the more you take the whey out, the drier it is. So I'm gonna cut a whole piece out, and you can see it's exciting. I already tried it. I bought some bread. I didn't have time to make any bread. So here it is. It's yummy. You see the texture is soft, but it's firm. So it's almost like a Philadelphia. So this is the fresh. Now, if you wanted to go harder, then we have to cure it. You understand? So I like it like this. I couldn't wait. So I'm going to try a little piece. And voila. It's a 2 days cheese. It's yummy. Absolutely amazing. It's so fresh and beautiful. So I hope we can make more of this together. So here it is. Queijo Minas, fresh Queijo Minas. And only take 2 days to make. Impress your friends. Have somebody to come over. Quickly put things together. Get a bottle of milk, a bottle of vinegar and salt, and there you are. You have cheese. And this cheese is about 1 kilo, and how much it would cost. Now I'm going to show you how the Brazilians do it. A cup of coffee. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's too late to have a big meal. I'm a little bit hungry, and I just want a little snack. So just a piece of cheese and a cup of coffee. And that's how we have in Brazil. Now please, I would like to invite you for my next video where we're going to cure the other cheese that we made together. That's going to take about 3 to 4 days. And I'll show you the process of it. We're going to wash the cheese and we're going to salt the cheese until it's all ready. So come with me on the next video. The reason I opened this channel is because I like making things and I like doing things. And I want to share with you everything that I make. So please come with me and press like. Keep following me. And I hope to see you on the next video. I'm going to have my Queijo Minas, traditionally from Brazil, all over Brazil. And traditionally from Brazil, a cup of coffee. All in Australia. I'll see you soon.